Hey there guys, welcome back for this quick episode. Take a look at the Premium Kit 3 from the Mortal Realms magazine series. I've just received mine today, which is the 8th of the 1st or 8th of January. This comes with issues 43 to 46 of the premium subscription. Now, I'm a little bit behind on videos for the channel. The last video that went out was 38, so obviously slowly catching up, but I'm about a month behind. But I thought I would release this one ahead of the other magazines that come with this, so that you guys can take a look now, being as those of you at the front of the subscription, along with myself, are starting to get these, and then those of you who are a month or so behind will be receiving this with those same issues, which will be around the time that those issues go live on the channel for videos and stuff. So with that said, let's take a look at this kit. Alright, now this kit is the Borax War Clan. So what I'll do is quickly get this out. So we've got the magazine issue there. See if we can get that glare off of it a little bit. Let's give it a shot, see if we can reduce the intensity of that light. There we go, a little bit darker, but not so much of a glare around here. Alright, so you'll have to excuse me on exactly the name of the models. I'm not 100% familiar, but we get the Orc, I think he's a warlock or something like that, but he's the wizard orc guy, the magic and that. We get a war boss. So for him, I believe this is coming on a few sprues. Now looking at this cloak, that would be for that dude there. This looks like it would be more for the war boss, and then we got more for him there. So 4 sprues between the war boss and the mage guy. Again, apologies, I can't remember what he is called, but I'm sure it will tell us in the issue. And then we get, I believe it is 5 brutes spread across 3 sprues. So there's sprue 1. Obviously we've got the torsos here. Now there are actually 6 torsos on here, so I may be wrong, it may be 6 brutes, although this one has a head attached, so we'll have to have a look at the assembly guide and see what we get. And then we've got this double sprue here that is the rest of the brutes. Obviously they've got their swords and choppers, spears, great axes. So obviously we'll have a look at the assembly guide and see how they go together, and then we'll take a look at painting the Orc War Boss in the video that goes up with this. You can check that out in the corner here, and we'll paint him up, look at how to do a darker green. What I'm going to do is a slightly darker green for the War Boss, and then mid green for the Orruks themselves, and the Warlock I may go a little bit more of a sort of slightly yellow green, but I prefer to keep the paler greens for goblins and things like that. But with orcs, I tend to think the darker the skin, the tougher and meaner they are. And obviously with Warclans, you're going to get the tougher ones are going to be the leaders, and so it makes sense to do him a very dark green, and then the darker green for the other guys, with a slightly brighter green for the mage guy. So we also get, before I forget, a pot of Yriel yellow, which is a layer paint, and then obviously the bases for these guys. So let's take a look at the magazine that comes with this. Just get these out of the way. So with this, let's have a look. Mega Boss. So the Orc Mega Boss. Iron Jaw's Mega Bosses are amongst the mightiest warriors in the realms. Each one of them aims to be chosen by Gore Chopper and has become leader of his clan by fighting his way to the top of the pile. So that's the one that we get, is the Mega Boss. So the biggest and strongest. Maw Crushers. Mega Bosses who wish to truly prove their strength may try to claim a Maw Crusher as a mount. So there you go. Right, a powerful Mega Boss can call upon many Orruks to fight. I don't like that word. Games Workshop should never have changed it. Orcs was better, but you know, they wanted to go different. Anyway, to fight alongside him. Perhaps the most powerful and deadly of these Orruks are the Brutes. Aggressive and brutal, they often form the vanguard of an Iron Jaw's army. So we get obviously the Brutes in this. Shayman, that is the one, the weird knob Shayman. That's the other model that we get, the wizardy guy. So we got a Brute with a Gore Chopper, Brute with 2 Brute Choppers, so that'll obviously be the blade and the other one, and then a Brute Boss with a chopper. We may actually get 6 of these guys, and looking at this, no, it is just the 5. So we've got the 5 Brutes, the Mega Boss, and the Shayman, but we get 6 bodies, so we may get an alternative pose, or my guess is most likely we've got the body that makes the Brute Boss, and then obviously if you were to buy another kit you would only have one Brute Boss, so the alternative body would make an alternative Brute. But you know, hopefully we get enough parts to maybe kit bash something together. So we've got the Brute Boss with chopper, so he's using the body with the head attached, so obviously that's got that guy, so we end up with a spare body and a spare head. Oh, he's got a human head in his hand, you can see just down here. That's pretty cool. Then we've got the Brute with Gore Chopper. That's the big double-handed sword. Looks like he gets an assortment of parts that can go on his shoulder pads, and we've also got the 6 heads, so you can mix and match the heads on him, choose what head you want, and then obviously he's got this big plate that goes over the front of him. Now looking at these guys, they do have quite a few sort of overlapping and covering pieces, so my way of painting these would to be to keep them separate, paint the pieces and then glue them together at the end. For example, this piece, maybe keep this off because his arms come up the way of the front of him, keep those off as well. And then the shoulder guards, because the arms need to go on first and the shoulder guard over the top, we'll have to keep them off. But yeah, we'll keep them as small subs and paint them up separate. Then we've got the Brute with 2 choppers. How many of these do we get? So we've got the one there. Again, variety of heads and trophies that we can put on. Then we've got another Brute with Brute choppers. So obviously they're not multi-pose kits. From the looks of it, they do still have to be in set poses. So you're limited to the shape of them, but they are multi-part kits, they're not push fit. And from my experience of returning to Warhammer and 40k, Games Workshop seem to have stepped away from the multi-pose kits with a lot of their more recent stuff, which is a shame. I used to love being able to angle, especially Eldar and Dark Eldar. They still do them, and I think Tau, you could rotate the pieces around. You could have them, you know, doing all sorts of gymnastic style poses. But these days they seem to be more, this is how you're going to have the guy. He's got to go like this, and you're a little bit more limited. Now I'm not sure if that's because these particular ones came from a larger set, which they typically do end up being push fit or something like this, or if you were to buy a box of brutes, if they would still be the same as this. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys could let me know down in the comments if you think Games Workshop are shying away from multi-pose kits, or if you think it's just these ones come from a larger set where they have pre-posed models rather than the multi-pose. So then we get another brute with brute choppers. So that is 1, 2, 3 brutes with brute choppers, 1 with the Gore Chopper and the War Boss. Now I noticed on the sprue we had the big spear looking thing, but this doesn't seem to use it, so maybe again that is part of another brute, or you could maybe there's an alternative. I will look this up online and post this down in the comments after making this video, but maybe there's an alternative build guide that shows that we can use other parts of this kit. I'm not entirely sure. I'll look that up, and if there is, it'll be down there. Then we've got the Orc Mega Boss. Again, with this guy, he looks like he's going to have to be painted in subsections. Obviously his legs can go together, his torso, the back part, the front part. This piece though may get in the way of painting his face, where he's got this big jaw section up front. The rest of him seems okay, so what I would do is see about keeping this separate, push it together and see how much interference I get with painting behind there. If I feel it's too much, then I'll subsection it and paint it separately. Right, then we've got the how to paint orc flesh. So they are using Lauren Forest, Athonian Camo Shade and Nurgling Green. Oh, we forgot the weird knob Shayman. As far as I can see with him, we can assemble him fine. Maybe leave his cloak off so we can paint the inside of the cloak and the back of him. And as long as the front cloak doesn't need the back part of the cloak on, then we should be able to put that on and paint that separate. If not, we'll be leaving that off too. But we'll have a look. So anyway, now we know we get the Borax White in our subscription, and we know we've got the Athonian Camo Shade, the Lauren Forest and the Nurgling Green. I know the Nurgling Green we haven't got. The L'Oreal Forest, I'm not too sure, and I don't think we did get that. But if we go through these paints here, we've got the Abaddon Black, the Borax White, the Dryad Bark, the Cantor Blue, the Lead Belcher, I think we got that. Then we've got Mechanica Standard Grey, we got that. The Mephiston Red, we've had that. The Rakarth Flesh, I think we've had that. The Retributor Armour we've had. Administratum Grey, I'm not too sure. The Baneblade Brown we have had. The Calgar Blue we have had. Lauren Forest I don't think we've had. Nurgling Green I know we haven't. Pallid Witch Flesh we have. Stormhost Silver I think we have. Troll Slayer Orange I'm not too sure, but I think we may have got that in an issue recently. Wild Rider Red we actually get in the subscription issues that come with this, so it's one of the 43 to 46 issue. I think it's possibly issue 45 that we get Wild Rider Red in. Then we got obviously the Uriel Yellow that came with this, and then for shade paints we've got Agrax Earth Shade, we've got Athonian Camo Shade, we've got Caraburg Crimson I know we haven't got, and the reason I know that is I spilt the last of my pot of it and I really need another pot, but I just haven't got round to getting one yet, so hopefully we'll get that and I can just hold off long enough. Then the Coelia Green Shade we've got, Nolan Oil we've got, and Warclans Flesh Shade I can't remember if we've received that yet or not, but I think we have. So Nylock Oxide and Sterling Mud we've also got. So I think we're missing maybe 3 paints out of this. So not too bad. The Nurgling Green you can make up easy enough if we've got the Lauren Forest, just by adding a little bit of Pallid Witch Flesh or Borax White. Borax White is a slightly grey white, so that will dull it down. All Nurgling Green is compared to the Lauren Forest, is a more muted neutral tone, which is what white will do to a colour. White won't actually brighten a colour or lighten it as such. It will mute it down. Whilst lighting it, it'll make it a lot more matte looking, which is where the Nurgling green would come in. Personally, I think I would use the Pallid Wych Flesh to get that middle tone, rather than the Borax white. You'll get a lot more closer to the Nurgling green. So, moving on. Obviously, we've got the how to paint them. Now, they are painting the Uriel yellow straight over the Borax white. I won't be doing that in my painting video. Again, you can catch that in the corner. I prefer to undertone my yellows with either a red or something more along the lines of an orange. I know a lot of people do it with pink. You can get some nice colours with that. So yeah, so check out that video and you'll see how I go about painting this guy up. So moving on, we've got obviously how to paint the Mega Boss and Shayman, brute armour, and we've got the how to paint the bases. So they've gone obviously for the very simple basing it here with the sterling mud, dry brushing it, and then painting that rim up. Then we've got how to do highlights. So obviously we'll have a look at how to do dead flesh. Obviously that guy's been dead for a bit. So then we've got highlighting armour and such. Then we've got our war scrolls. So we've got the Orc Mega Boss, and there you go, you can see the finished models there. Very nicely done. So yeah, definitely do him with a darker green. These guys pretty much the green that they are, and then this one I'll go with a slightly paler green for him. Then we've got the war scroll, so Orc Mega Boss, and then on the reverse we've got the Weird Knob Shayman and the Orc Brutes. And then we have a little battle. So the Stormvault. Mega Boss Gorguk Ambertooth watched angrily as a trail of geists swept from the rusted steps realm gate and drifted towards the broken ruins of the Stormvault. He felt rage rise within him. What were Nagash's servants after? They're after me loot, he thought to himself, snorting angrily and narrowing his beady red eyes. He cast a glance toward his Weird Knob Shayman, who was prancing back and forth, chanting prayers to Gork and yelping wildly. The manic Shayman turned and caught Ambertooth's eye, a crazed grin on his face. "They're gonna grab the goods," he screeched, and broke into a bout of laughter. Flickering green energy pulsed up and down the Shayman's staff as he crackled wildly. Ambertooth could already feel his heart racing at the prospect of a fight. "Not on my watch they ain't," he bellowed, raising a clenched fist and turning his brutes. "It's crumping time, boys. No ghosty is getting their claws on our loot. Grab the goods and give them a bashing they won't forget." So, for this we'll be using a Knight of Shrouds on an ethereal steed, 3 Spirit Hosts, 10 Chain Rasps and 4 Myrmorn Banshees, and then all the models that we got in this, so the Mega Boss, the 5 Brutes and the Shayman. And then the battlefield, now we're using one of the large battle mats that we've got, and then we're using this to, I assume, represent the loot, the vault in the centre here. So obviously we'll place this piece on top of the battle mat, and then obviously on the back showing the final premium, which will be the Blades of Khorne. So we'll be looking at some of Khorne's fighters, some Chaos guys for that premium kit, which I believe will be towards issue probably around 60. Obviously we're 43 to 46 now, so we're roughly every 15 or so issues. I'm not sure exactly which deliveries they are following, because obviously there was that incident where we had split deliveries due to the start of COVID. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope this gives you a good look at what we'll be getting with the Orruk premium kit. So until next time, take it easy, keep painting those minis.